He joined in 2016 when it was basically pre-revenue. Since then, they've raised $6 million. They have 68 customers. They're doing just south of, call it $1 million annual run rate currently. His goal is to get that up into the millions by the end of the year. It's too early to talk about economics because they haven't really done much on paid spend, but their team of 20 is focused out there in San Mateo on making mobile experiences better and stronger, no matter if you're in a train, if you're in an airport with bad security connection or bad internet connection or anywhere else. They want to make anything you're doing on your mobile device more efficient for those companies like Eventbrite.
This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
This is episode 753. Coming up tomorrow morning, Luis joins us. They've passed 15 million in revenue using breakfast meetups for growth. Interesting growth strategy. Tune in to find out how he did it so you can do the same thing.
Hello, everybody. My guest today is Shlomi Jian. He serves as PacketZoom Chief Executive Officer since June of 2016. We'll jump into how he entered that role when he wasn't a founder here in a second. He joined the company after spending 4 years at Akamai, where he founded really the emerging mobile business unit and served as the head of mobile market development. Before that, he was the general manager of mobile solutions at Cotendo that invented mobile CDN back in 2011 before it was acquired by Akamai. He's got a great story. Shlomi, are you ready to take us to the top?
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, I'm ready. It's very exciting. Good. You describe it really well, the journey I went through dealing with mobile performance, dealing with mobile applications, and the challenges that they expose.
So tell us what PacketZoom does and what's the business model? How do you make money?
Well, PacketZoom makes mobile application works better, especially where networks fail to deliver. So think about the wrong part of the building, think about the wrong part of the country, think about the wrong part on the globe, right? The developing countries where mobile networks are not working well. We all use mobile devices and mobile applications more specifically more and more, and we're seeing this in all the reports, right? This is our best friend, the mobile phone, the small screen. We're using applications more and more, and we're trying to entertain ourselves. Oftentimes, we're in locations where networks do not deliver the right quality, and that's where PacketZoom comes in. We would like to take away all the hassle has to do with networking because there are just too many networks out there, right?
You're like, you can look at this as like anyone who's listening right now who's ever tried to like buy in a ticket off Eventbrite when they have a spotty internet connection. Eventbrite would pay you to like make their system automatically like work for a bad connection. Is that how it works?
That's correct. We want Eventbrite to work on the train. We want Eventbrite to work in your Tesla. We want Eventbrite to work on the plane and in India and Russia and Brazil and China where things are not working perfectly, right? So that's where PacketZoom comes in. We eliminate what we call the roadblocks. We get you on the express lane.
Yep.
That's how I'd like to.
And how do you make money? Is it a SaaS business?
It's a SaaS business. We give you an SDK. We charge you per daily active users. Daily active users is a pretty common, model. Anyone who's using this service on a given day will give us a fraction of a penny.
Got it. Okay, so is it a flat SaaS fee based off a daily active user number, or is it pennies per like API call or pennies per use?
Yeah, it's a great question. We started as daily active user being very simple, simply defined as anyone who's using the system up to a certain usage. There are cases where we're now getting into the details of how many calls, how many gigabytes are delivered, etc. But most of our customers are very comfortable with just the definition of daily active user, just does simplify things. So they're used to pay this way to other vendors, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them.
Okay, and so like, give me an example. What's the average customer paying you just from the SaaS fee?
Yeah, 400 to 4,000 per application. That's what we're in. In the 4,000, of course, you have to be a very popular game or retail application. The 400 is more reasonable if you have tens of thousands of daily active users. Our cost is not high. Your cost should not be high. We're taking actually away some of the other costs you have. Many of our customers are using traditional web CDNs like Akamai, Amazon CloudFront, etc. Once they start using PacketZoom, this bill almost goes away, and they can replace it with a better service and all that. Technically, they don't have to change. They don't have to terminate the relationship with the other CDN, but by placing us in front of them, they'll see a big reduction in the bill.
And have you bootstrapped this company, or have you raised capital?
Oh, we raised capital. So our main investors are Baseline and First Round Capital.
And how much total have you raised?
About six.
Okay, and then tell me some more of the backstory here, because it sounds like you may have come in through the investor, right, in an investor round or something like that. Tell me the story. When did the real founders, or the original, not the real one, the original founders found the company, and why'd you and how did you decide to jump in?
Yeah, Chetan Ahuja, who started a company in 2013, was at Google back then, and he was very frustrating with the state of mobile data and mobile content delivery. So he tried to promote this idea at Google. Of course, large company, things didn't move fast enough, so he left Google and started PacketZoom. It's a very complicated technology. He basically built a mobile networking stack that works differently, was designed just for mobile applications. And when, it took him a while to build it with a small team of engineers, bootstrapped. And then I was at Akamai back then after the acquisition of Cotendo. I was looking for cool cutting-edge technologies to bring into Akamai. And we were looking at everyone out there. PacketZoom seemed to be the only technology that worked, but didn't have much commercial traction. And it was very interesting. At the same time, the investors were looking for a CEO with more of a business background to come and lead the company, redefine the go-to-market. When I met Chetan and the team, I realized that the go-to-market...
How though? How did you meet them?
I met them just through headhunter. So basically, they invited me to see, that was a year ago exactly, to see a Warrior game. And we were planning to meet for an hour. We stayed for 7 hours. I fell in love with the product and the technology, and I decided to leave my comfort cushion at Akamai in favor of this great venture.
So if they found you through a headhunter, they had intention on their side. They were looking for somebody like you to bring in, and that's why they hired the headhunter.
Exactly. They needed someone that understands the space. Given my background in Cotendo, Akamai, I mean, they felt I'm the right guy. I, on the other hand, was looking, and I was looking for a long time for the right technology to solve this problem. And they were, just right. The product was working, everything was right. It's just the type of people they were going after did not have the budget to pay for it. So we had to tweak the story a little bit. We started with enterprise selling. We were able to attract customers like Sephora and Glue Mobile and Upwork. And now we're going back to the core. We're going to focus more and more on developers and get deep with them.
Yep. That makes good sense. Now, was them bringing in that headhunter tied to a funding round they did where the investor said, hey, you need to go hire a headhunter and bring in a CEO?
That was tied to the what's called C2. Investors really wanted to see traction on the business side. The product looked great. Everything was promising, but they wanted to see the MRR growing. So that's why I joined. And luckily, things are working really well, and we're just closing so we're very excited about that.
We'll talk more about that in a second. I'm curious, what was MRR when you joined?
It was, close to none.
Oh, really? Okay, so they were really pre-revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And how much had they raised at that point already?
That point was about 3.
Okay, got it. Well, I mean, so clearly very talented kind of technical thinkers for them to be able to raise $3 million, pre-revenue.
That is correct. Yeah. But again, this product is not just, let me put differently. This is a very difficult product to build. It takes time. It takes not just time to build the product, but fine-tune over time because it has to work on 800 networks worldwide. So it just takes a lot of time.
Yep. How many customers are you serving now today?
We have about 68 customers.
Okay, about 68. Got it. And then take me back, like, I'm curious as a CEO like you that's coming in, obviously you're goal setting every year. What's like a number that you and the technical co-founders and the team, like what's a number at the end of this year where if you hit it, everyone's celebrating? It could be a revenue number or a customer number or a usage number. What's the number?
Well, we're tracking a few KPIs. We're tracking, number of SDK installs. That indicates how many people trust our SDK, how many people were able to get it into their app into production. A good number for us will be in the tens of the millions, and we're making good progress toward this number. There's another KPI called daily active users, which is basically, it ties very closely to MRR. And daily active users, again, our goal is to hit, we're going to be in anything between 15 to 20 million daily active users there.
And what are you at now?
Yeah, we're almost halfway through.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you feel pretty good then. I mean, it sounds like since you've been there, which has been less than 12 months, you've gone from very little to about halfway to 10 or 15 million. So call it you're at 7 or 8 million now. You think you'll be able to double it by the end of the year?
Oh, yeah. We're doubling our activity every quarter since I joined. Well, it's easy when the numbers are small and it's getting more and more challenging. But we were able to double every quarter. And we're not planning to do it ourselves. This business is relying heavily on partnerships. So I expect that a company like PacketZoom will, like Cotendo back in the days, like other startups I work with in this space, 60% of the revenue is going to come through partnerships. So we're already making great progress there. We have one large partnership with the ChinaCache. It's a large CDN public company selling us exclusively in China. We're working on additional partnership with other CDNs, but most importantly, resellers. So we have already 3 European resellers selling us in countries like France and Spain and the UK, and we're expanding to Asia and Latin America.
What cut do you give those European resellers?
Well, these are old resellers we worked with in the past. I've been in companies like Keynote Systems, Device Anywhere, Cotendo, and Akamai. These are the same old resellers that are selling performance. They're selling app dynamics.
Why are they incentivized, though? You're giving them something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, for all these partners, we are a perfect fit because they're already selling performance. They're selling to a specific audience in a specific company. All they have to do is pull another deck that solves another problem that is very
but what do you give them, Shlomi? Do you give them a cut? Like, do you give them a 10% cut, or do you give them a cut, or is that not the model?
Well, it depends.
It's different.
It depends on the commitment. Someone like ChinaCache is not only selling us; they're actually running the service in their territory.
Got it.
They're taking away the cost of operation. They're taking away the cost of sales. So obviously, the percentage there is higher. On the other extreme side, there's someone who's just selling, doesn't bring any customer support, doesn't bring any sales engineering, doesn't make any commitment, then obviously that's going to be lower. But we're aiming to work with larger partners that are willing to make higher commitments. So,
and you talked about 2 of your goals here in 2017 in terms of daily active users and SDK connections. What's a revenue goal? Where you'd all be celebrating?
Well, and like any other A-round company, we are starting to talk about millions of dollars in ARR.
Yep.
And we want to be ready for Series B, a big Series B, and we're just starting. So again, we're moving from seed to A, and the goal is to get everything shiny and ready for a big B.
Have you passed the magical $88,000 per month mark, which is the 1 million ARR mark yet, or are you close?
We're very close,
yeah.
And that is well, it's the end of the quarter. We're already counting the days for the end of the quarter, so that's pretty much where we are.
Yep, I was doing quick math where you said earlier you had about 68 customers, and you said they pay you anywhere between 400 and 4,000. So the low end of that would be 27 grand in MRR. The high end would be 272 grand in MRR. So it sounds like you guys are making good progress. It's higher than 400, but less than 4,000 in terms of monthly revenue from each customer, and you guys are getting close to that magical $88,000 mark. What do you want to get that to by like the December 2017? Like, are you thinking about trying to double that to 160 or triple it to 240 or?
Well, again, my message to the team, I ask from the team. I know it's pretty high bar is to keep doubling every quarter until we're getting to serious numbers, and that means on all KPIs. You look at SDK installation, you look at daily active users, you look at MRR. That's what we want to do. Now we're getting to a point that numbers start to add up. And we want to get some help. We're getting some help. We just opened our office in Asia, starting to hire some people there. And very soon we're going to announce our presence in Europe. And that is going to help us out. So far, those numbers, everything I mentioned, we were able to accomplish it with very small sales team.
How big is your team right now? What's the size?
We have pretty much 3 sales guys, and the most senior guy has been with us for 7 months.
What's your whole team size though?
The company is 20.
Okay, 20. Okay, so 3. And what I imagine the rest are engineering.
Engineering, sales engineering, support, operation. We have some guys there, but it's pretty lean in terms of resources. And we're most of us are here in San Mateo, California. We have some people outside the office in the US, but we're building up an offshore development support team in Bangalore.
What did you spend? I'm curious. What did you spend last month in like paid marketing?
In marketing,
yeah,
very little. I'm talking about
less than what?
Less than $10,000.
Okay, got it. And that's obviously.
I mean, this whole thing is going to change very soon.
Yep. Are you? Because you're raising capital, right? So you got to figure out that model. Are you that 10,000 ish that you're spending? I mean, is that conference sponsorships? When you do spend money, where do you spend it?
What's included in my marketing budget is actually conferences, some PR, and SEO, basic stuff. We're going through a huge change here in terms of everything you can think about, from marketing, messaging, positioning. We're launching a new product in 3 months, and that's going to make a big difference for us.
What is some of the other economics, obviously, in a SaaS company, things like churn? What's your gross customer churn per month?
No churn, 0.
You haven't had anyone start paying you and leave yet?
No one.
Does that mean you're charging too little?
That means that they're happy, and we want to keep them.
Come on, Shlomi. It means you're charging too little, right?
It could be. In some cases I am, but I'm happy to, because I'm not losing money on any deal.
What if you doubled the price? Do you think no one would leave?
Some of them will. The small ones will leave. They're price sensitive. They're starting working with us because they see an opportunity to get a better service at a lower price, meaning they're cutting costs on Amazon CloudFront and other CDNs. So they see it as a nice way to start a business. As they grow, though, as some of our customers that promoted on our website, they stick around. They stay with us because they see the value. So it will be not very smart to double the price at this point. I don't think we should, because we're making money from every deal.
One of the dangerous things about, like, you have 68 customers, so it's like a small cohort to run analysis on. But if you assume 0% churn, it becomes dangerous when you try and figure out lifetime value, because you can get super inflated numbers. How do you think about lifetime value in terms of dollars and or months?
Well, I think there'll be churn, logical churn. People will shut down the business. People will find a more attractive or nicer salesperson to work with. But I hope that, I know that the product we have is very unique. Actually, it's the only product that is working with millions of daily active users. So I hope that this advantage will translate into a commercial advantage that will be hard to close by any competitor. So again, the fact that it takes a long time to develop this product, the fact that we have the market leadership and we have this traction, the momentum, I think will eventually end up being a huge advantage. Only game in town. That's what we want to be.
Yeah. For though, I mean, you're raising all this capital, and you talk about kind of the Series A, Series B, etc. I mean, part of the thing is how you're going to spend that money, and figuring out what you want to spend to acquire a customer. Usually, folks tie that to a payback period or a lifetime value metric. What do you? It's obviously very early, but what do you assume the lifetime value is of one of your customers?
That's a great question. I don't have the right number for you, but I know from my experience in the CDN space that, once you're in, especially in the form of an SDK, switching costs are very high.
Yep.
As long as you deliver the right service, as long as you're sensitive to the fact that you're actually a big part of the business, you're delivering all the traffic, you're doing the right thing, there is no reason to switch you. People switching SDKs CDNs because it's easy and they're trying to optimize for speed and cost. In our case, again, the fact that we're the only game in town, there aren't too many options out there. As long as we provide good service at the right price, I think they will stay with us.
And you guys are all based out there in San Mateo?
Most of us are here. We have a few guys, sales guys outside the office here in the US, and slowly, surely we're adding in other countries. We are starting a big activity in Bangalore, India with more engineers, support, and some sales activity for the region. Makes
a lot of sense. Do you guys have like the average gross margin for a SaaS company, or is it different? What is your gross margin?
Right now, early days. We haven't even optimized for our own costs. We're using lots of, I didn't mention it, we don't have our own infrastructure for a reason. We don't see ourselves as a CDN. We don't have what's called POPs, point of presence. We are relying on AWS. We're relying on DigitalOcean or any other cloud infrastructure, and we're paying retail. Because
that's why I'm asking. I imagine you probably have a pretty low, like your gross margin is actually lower than average just because you're just starting and you have a fixed cost structure.
Totally.
What are you at now?
We're anything between I would say 60 to 80.
Yeah.
But it will be very different next quarter as we're already an AWS partner. We're going to become an AWS reseller. We're going to get this price down, and we have some great ideas about how to get to the 95 and up. That business should not be at the gross margin I just mentioned, but we're not thinking revenue, and now we'll move to start thinking about margins very soon.
Many of you listening right now don't have time to listen to every B2B SaaS CEO that I've interviewed. If you want to get access to the database I've created with year-over-year growth rates, customer counts, margins, and many, many other data metrics and data points, you can go to getlatka.com. Here's the thing, though. That database, I keep it to myself. It's so freaking valuable. And to preserve the quality of the data and make sure that the people that have access to it have a true advantage, I'm only letting 10 companies on each month. So we're full this month, but you can go to getlatka.com to get on the waiting list for next month. And look, there's big people on the waiting list. I mean, the biggest VCs you've ever heard of. You've probably heard of them. They're big, private equity, billions and billions under management. So it's an impressive waiting list. Go get on now at getlatka.com. Guys, big news. Last month was a huge month for the company I recently acquired, which was www.thetopinbox.com. I liked the company so much when I met the person who created it. It lets you send emails later on Gmail, set up reminders like snooze almost to keep your inbox clean, do things like send auto follow-ups, and do open tracking so you know when your emails get opened. It's great if you're in sales or CEO or trying to be more productive. So listen, I bought the whole company on the spot, and I want to tell you how I did it. I've showed the deal, by the way, to big, smart people, private equity firms, VCs, and they're dumbfounded. They go, Nathan, how did you do this? We've never seen a deal like this. How did you do this? So I did an unbelievable deal, and I want to show you the income report. So for me to send you the income report, go to www.thetopinbox.com, click the red button that says install this on Gmail, and when you do that, my email will appear. It'll appear in a little Gmail pop-up window. Send me an email and I'll reply immediately with the income report, and you can see how I'm buying and growing small B2B SaaS companies. That's www.thetopinbox.com. Totally free to try and use. www.thetopinbox.com.
Very cool. Let's wrap up, Shlomi, with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Well, Built to Last, yeah.
That's a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Not specifically. I'm reading a lot about folks that build similar businesses. I can't name one top of my head right now.
That's okay. Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have, like Acuity scheduling?
For just online tool for anything? Yeah, I like a company called MixRank. They have pretty good data that helps me understand what's happening out there, who's using who, what kind of SDKs are being installed in apps, what kind of SDKs are being removed from apps. That's a pretty fantastic data that I'm taking advantage of.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm sleeping well, 6 to 7. Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty good. And what's your situation? Married, single, do you have kids?
Married plus 3.
Wow, 3 kids. Okay, and how old are you?
Myself?
Yeah.
I'm 48.
Okay, last question. Take us back 28 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
How exciting it is to do your own thing.
So you would have done your own thing earlier.
Much earlier. But, good things come with patience. So I'm very happy we're here now. Everything I've learned in the last 28 years is coming to fruition.
There you guys have it from Shlomi Gian. Again, a lot of success in the startup world. Worked at small companies that have been acquired and bigger ones like Akamai before starting at PacketZoom. The company was founded in 2013. He joined in 2016 when it was basically pre-revenue. Since then, they've raised $6 million. They have 68 customers. They're doing just south of, call it $1 million annual run rate currently. His goal is to get that up into the millions by the end of the year. It's too early to talk about economics because they haven't really done much on paid spend, but their team of 20 is focused out there in San Mateo on making mobile experiences better and stronger, no matter if you're in a train, if you're in an airport with bad security connection or bad internet connection or anywhere else. They want to make anything you're doing on your mobile device more efficient for those companies like Eventbrite. Shlomi, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan.
If you enjoyed Shlomi today, go back and listen to Adrian yesterday. Adrian thinks retailers will want their own version of Amazon, and he's truly making bank from the concept.